The diner was half empty when Mia Larson, a 19-year-old waitress working double shifts to pay for college, wiped the counter for the 5th time that morning. Her black ponytail was messy from the humidity, and a tiny burn mark just above her wrist reminded her of the day she spilled boiling water in a rush. Still, she kept a soft smile. People always told her she had the kind of face that made strangers feel safe, kind eyes, warm voice, like she carried sunlight even on tired days. She needed this job more than anything. Rent was due in 4 days, her textbooks were still unpaid, and every extra hour she worked mattered. At 11:14 a.m., the bell above the door rang, and 3 boys walked in, locals from the nearby college known troublemakers. The leader, Brett Dalton, strutted in wearing a Letterman jacket and a fake confidence that always seemed louder around people he could intimidate. His 2 friends, Kyle and Ron, followed behind him, laughing at jokes that weren't funny. Mia felt her stomach tighten. They had been here before, and she remembered how they spoke to her like she wasn't human. Mia forced a professional smile. "Good afternoon. Table for 3? Brett smirked. "Oh, look, the hard-working princess is back. Why don't you bring us the hottest coffee you got?" "Make it quick, sweetheart." Mia nodded, refusing to react. She had dealt with worse customers. She prepared their coffee, hands steady, mind calm, reminding herself to breathe. But the moment she placed the cups on the table, Brett grabbed her wrist, not roughly enough to leave a mark, but enough to make it clear he wanted control. "You didn't thank me," he said, "for—" Mia blinked, confused, "for letting you serve us." Kyle and Ron burst into laughter. Mia kept her voice low. "Please let go of my wrist." Brett squeezed slightly harder. "Say please, Brett." She pulled her hand back, her heart pounding. "Please, Brett." He let go with a satisfied grin. She walked away, cheeks burning, not from shame, but from anger she dared not show. And standing at a booth nearby, unnoticed until this moment, was a broad-shouldered man in a plain grey t-shirt and jeans. His hair was military, short, his posture straight, and a large black German shepherd sat perfectly still beside him, watching the whole scene with alert eyes. The man's name was Ethan Cole, a retired Navy SEAL who had seen war zones quieter than this diner, and the dog was Shadow, his K9 partner, who had saved his life more than once. Ethan said nothing yet, but he saw everything. 20 minutes passed. The boys grew louder, mocking Mia's shoes, her job, her fake smile. Mia did her best to ignore them, but when she brought their requested refills, Brett leaned back in his chair and whispered something to Kyle. Kyle grinned, grabbed the steaming cup, and before Mia could react, he tipped it forward. The scalding coffee spilled down her forearm and across her apron. Mia gasped, dropping the tray, biting back a scream as the hot liquid seared her skin. Brett clapped sarcastically. "Oops, Butterfingers, maybe don't become a waitress if you can't handle something as simple as coffee." Mia stumbled back, tears stinging her eyes, not from pain alone, but from humiliation. Customers stared. A few shook their heads in disgust, but none moved. None, except one. Ethan stood. Shadow stood with him. The room fell silent as the tall man walked forward, his calm, cold expression carrying more danger than shouting ever could. Ethan knelt beside Mia first, checking her arm with gentle hands. His voice was soft. "Does it hurt badly?" Mia nodded, breath shaky. "I'm fine. It's okay. I just need ice." "It's not okay," Ethan said, eyes shifting toward the boys. Then he stood, towering over their table. Brett tried to smirk again, but it faltered. "What are you, her boyfriend or something?" Ethan didn't blink. "Apologize." Kyle laughed nervously. "Dude, relax. It was a joke." Ethan's tone didn't change. "Burning someone with hot coffee is not a joke." "Apologize," Ron scoffed. "Man, who even are you?" Ethan leaned closer. "Someone who has buried men braver than you." Shadow growled, a low, guttural, spine-freezing growl that made all 3 boys freeze like prey. Brett swallowed hard. "It wasn't even that hot. You want to test that theory?" Ethan asked. Kyle stuttered. We didn't mean to hurt her." Ethan stepped forward, and Brett's bravado shattered. Okay, sorry." Mia stood behind Ethan, shaking, her burned arm wrapped in a cold towel. Ethan didn't look away from the boys. "Now pay your bill, all of it. Leave a tip, then get out." Brett scrambled for his wallet. The 3 rushed toward the exit, but Ethan wasn't finished. "Brett," he called out. Brett froze. "If you ever step foot in this diner again, you'll deal with me, and I promise you I won't. Be as polite next time." Shadow barked once, a sharp, perfect punctuation mark. The boys fled. The diner breathed with relief. Mia stared at Ethan, unable to process everything fast enough. You didn't have to do that. Yes, Ethan said gently, I did. He guided her to a booth, helped her sit, and Shadow pressed his head gently onto her lap, sensing her distress. Mia stroked the dog's fur with her unburned hand, tears falling silently. Ethan asked for a first aid kit and treated her burn like he had done countless times in the military, steady, careful, reassuring. Why help me, she whispered. Ethan smiled. Because people like them count on everyone staying silent. People like me don't. Mia looked at him through watery eyes. Thank you. Shadow nudged her elbow as if saying, You're safe now. But outside the diner, Brett and his friends stood in the parking lot, furious, humiliated, burning with the desire for revenge, and they weren't done. Not yet.